really start, I just want to share this comment from Peg with everybody. So it has been a spectacular morning. As you see this comment that we just got in the chat and wanted to share it with everybody. Good morning. I just made 8K on SPX with the help of the roadmap and Tom's teachings. Thanks a million to all of you for your everyday teachings and hard work. And I just want to kind of echo that and say thank you for all of you who come in every day and give us that opportunity. And man, when you show us returns like that, it lets me know that it's working and lets Tom know it's working. And we certainly appreciate all of you guys. And I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for coming in every day to our train and trade, which of course is at 11 a.m. Eastern every day. You can join Tom's Telegram channel, dtitrader.com/Telegram. Great information coming out of the TNT channel earlier today. We'll talk about that in a bit. I also want to encourage you guys to join us on YouTube. If you go to dtitrader.com/YouTube, and I'm going to head over there right now. I know that we've already got the YouTube crowd signed in, and to get there, you go to dtitrader.com/YouTube, click on the live trading link, and give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, and go ahead and say good morning in that chat room. We certainly look forward to seeing you guys there every day. It's the best way to support what we do at DTI. Doesn't cost you a penny. Just go ahead, go to dtitrader.com/YouTube, click on live trading, like and subscribe, and say hello to us in the chat room. Now, we are going to get into a discussion about markets, and we have to make this crystal clear. There is a very high degree of risk involved in trading. You and you alone will be responsible for the decisions you make. Always consider risk. Risk is a very important consideration. Remember that past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Now, a couple of the big news items. Crude is probably one of the biggest news things to pay attention to right now. Crude opened at 89.72 last night. They had traded to a low of 80.42. The new low, though, it's even lower. Crude has been down now to 78.97. I seem to recall a time a little bit over a month ago where crude had bumped up to over 100, and Tom said with assurance it will be down by 80 within the next I think the time frame was April. Basically, the time frame is now. So we've gotten the market, that crude market, back down to 80. That's kind of a big deal. Iran, of course, is in the headlines. That's part of what's driving that move in crude, and will continue to be so until it's not. That's one of the big things there. Now, some of our news items, we're pretty much done with our economic reports today. We still have a few more geopolitical issues to cover, and we'll see how that plays out. But next week, we do have retail sales continuing on Tuesday morning, and we dive into the, a continued earnings season. We kind of got a little bit of glimpse of it with the financials this week, and we'll be moving more into the broader market on those earnings next week. So if you're looking to pay attention to earnings in markets, make sure you remember next week is a big week. Couple key levels. Listen, I've taken most of them out because they don't seem all that applicable at the moment. But the first quarter high was 70.43, and the second quarter high has been higher. Left that in, and wow, has it gotten higher? 7174.75, the current high of the E-mini S&P futures in today's market. It's making a move. Now, we get to the in my opinion section, and I'm waiting to see, Tom, are you going to be joining us today? Looking for that camera to come on. And while we're waiting for him, let's see, just let me send a message. While we are waiting for him, let me just go ahead and tell you a few things about the market. And I'm going to do that by showing you the roadmap software. So here's my roadmap software. This is what I'm looking at throughout most of the day. You have the ETR lines up here, markets broken down, indices, commodities, ETFs, and a couple of stocks to pay attention to. But I want to take you over to the ETR page that I've got. This is where I get a lot of the information about the markets. These are a couple different ETR pages. They're all using the same symbols, but open, high, low. This is one of the great things you can do with the roadmap software if you've never really explored it. So I get to see how these reference bars come up and where things go through. And Tom, I don't know if you knew we could do this, but check this out. I'm going to go to that high ETR page. I'm going to change the interval here to Q for quarterly. Click on OK. Now, what this is showing me is the different quarters. The mini pivot line is the current quarter. The one just above it is the first quarter of this year, or fourth quarter of the previous year. And you look in here and you see that strength in the S&P. But one of the big things I'm looking at right now, everybody likes to say the market's gone too far. What else can it do? Here's what else the market can do. Take a look at the Dow, which is currently has a high of 49,849 today. Their first quarter high was 50,611. So I'm looking at the market and this big push, and I'm saying it's not done. There still can be more, right? I think a lot of people look at a market like this and say, "Oh, it's got to be overcooked. It's gone too far," and that's, I think, somewhat reasonable in terms of anticipation. But what do you say about the chart? That top of the chart, it's not the top of the market. Market can go further than the top of the chart. So that's always a little thing to consider. Let me get us back to our slides here. And your opinion on this, Tom, what do you think about this market?
Does everybody remember at the first of the year, somebody asked me a question. I normally don't give that opinion, but I remember it was when I did my annual look at the market. Somebody said, Tom, how high do you think the market will go this year? I said, look, here's the way it works for me. I can give you a number, and I think it's going to be somewhere, talking S&P, somewhere between 7,400 and 7,700. But if you really want to know and really want to follow what I say on that, about every quarter, you ought to ask me that question. How high you think it's going? I will narrow that range down, and Chuck and I play a game in December where we see who can get the closest. December, at 1st of December. The game we played for 20 plus years about predicting where this thing will close at, in December. And it's pretty accurate. I think Chuck's hit it right on there more than I have, but it's a fun game that we play every year. And so every quarter I update my annual and do that. And so right now, if you ask me, I'd say somewhere between 7,400 and 7,700. Okay, that's where I think we're going. And I told y'all, I alluded to that. Y'all remember during the sad days after the war started, and I said, guys, the sun will come up. In fact, statistically, we'll be higher at the end of the year. You remember me saying that? I don't know if you pick up on these little things I throw out there based on experience. Longer term in nature, probably not as accurate as my trading, but really they're pretty good. They're pretty good ways to think about things. I'm 100% invested in the market again. And that's something that to go from 0 to 100 started at the first of the week, and now I'm at 100%. And now I'm just milking this baby any way I can. And it's so nice to have this kind of market. That's my opinion. So let's just see where we go from here. It will go down in history, in my opinion, that President Trump's blockade of Iran was one of the most brilliant strategies I've seen in my lifetime and it will be written back, not in the current environment. I'm talking about years down the road. That to me, I talked to Neil. He's a former veteran Air Force guy, flew and all that, and we were talking. And I said, Neil, I thought it was the most brilliant move I've ever seen. And that was the move of the blockade. Anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there. So, my opinion, let's make some money together. Now, to do that, if you don't have a roadmap, you ought to take your right hand and slap yourself right now, because I've lowered the price on the roadmap during this trial period down to $99 a month. Just ask, this just before we get started, let's ask some of the people that attended my first training today about the roadmap. How valuable was me? How long has it been since the founder and creator of the roadmap taught you what you need to know in a simple fact? How long has that been that I've done that? 10, 15 years. I did it today on Friday. If you're there at 10:30, pipe up, share with us what you got out of it and how valuable next Friday is going to be. You know, the roadmap can be complicated, but I simplify it because I take it from trading, okay? And it's just pretty good. Deb said the best 15 minutes she spent with the roadmap. I like that, Deb. That's good. And we did a trade too, didn't we? Didn't we do a trade in there? Oh, I gave everybody a scholarship. Okay.
Yeah, Tom, we got some good feedback in there. I like Joseph's comment. Haven't seen you as excited about trading with the roadmap as you did this morning. Yeah, the markets kind of make it easy to get excited sometimes, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
All right, so let's look in here, and actually, let me just make sure
Oh,
that
here's another strategy. I'm going to show you this one. Go back. Where'd you go? It really, instead of saying pocket put, it ought to be slash calls, because I'm playing the market both ways. My goal, I refined it to make about 30% on these suckers a week. Anybody can stand 30% a week? Well, today at 1:30, if you want to be part of it, you got time to watch the setup. That was number one. And then I got the final rules I'm going to release today at 1:30. Okay. This is valuable. Anybody like to make that kind of money? Give me a yes, you're not a member and you're going to join. This is ridiculously low for what I'm doing here. Okay. I figured out a way every day we can take the pocket puts, pocket calls. I call it PC. Okay. The perfect PC, which means perfect pocket puts, perfect calls. So if you're interested, sign up, but be sure to watch the setup, because today we're going to do two things. I'm going to go through the steps that you can do every day. That's number one. And number two, I'm going to give you the rules. I've got the rules in my head. We'll just do that together at 1:30 on my pocket puts / pocket call. Easy. Okay.
yeah, and I will definitely be looking forward to that, because I think there's a sense of maybe the market's accomplished it, let down. No. This is when it gets more interesting. This is when it gets more fun. So the weekend, I think we're still looking to discover things over the weekend, and understanding pocket puts, pocket calls, probably going to be necessary heading into this weekend, because I think there's a lot of moving parts going on. Now,
No,
reminder
Deborah,
that
this is something we made 10 trades during the market turmoil, made plenty of money. I gave it away, 10 trades. Adam wanted me to teach people how to do that. So let's just teach them let's teach them both sides of the pocket world. And I had the first class last Friday. We got a great tape on that. The second class was today, live at 1:30. Okay.
All right.
Dave Meyer just made 84 cents off of investment. Way to go, Dave.
All right, so let's keep running here, guys. Reminder that all trades in Train and Trade, including the ones earlier today, are tracked through T-Buzz Talk and Trade, which is available at dtitrader.com/TNT. So want to encourage everybody to take advantage of that opportunity. Tom's first books plus the trilogy, Roadmap to the Market, Winning the Day Trading Game, The Markets Never Sleep and Trade to Win, all available on Amazon.com. And you can get a complimentary portion of the audiobook for Winning the Day Trading Game at dtitrader.com/WDTG. Online public resources, Forex Factory, EconoDay, EarningsWhispers.com. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on these sites over the weekend. We've got our exchange site, CME Group, NYSE, and Eurex.com, figuring out what's going on over there. More resources, DTI's white papers, Tom's YouTube page, which is up and running right now. Hello, everybody in YouTube land. Important terms to know, Tom's penalty tape. If you're feeling a little bit lost in the market, go and give that a listen. It kind of helps to bring you back to the golden path, if you will, the beaten path at least. We don't want people straying too far off that path too often. If you do find yourself a little bit lost in the wilderness, go back and read that or listen to that penalty tape. It helps to kind of refocus everything. Options EDU by DTI and Tom's BNN interview, also available on this page. Now, I do want to kind of put special emphasis on Options Education Resource, Options EDU, so dtitrader.com/options edu. Adam's done a lot of work on that page, and it's certainly worth going through. Go ahead and click the link and find out about Options EDU, the education resource for how to trade options. Right, April FTD stocks, and we got a few things going on here. Let me go ahead and click in, and let's see, just taking a look at the S&P there, 7162. Ooh, still climbing. All right, so coming in here, we're going to get an update soon on this from Jonathan, 9:48 a.m. Be an update coming in soon. The big news, I think, that really kind of kicked this whole thing off, Tom, was probably the VIX. And you've been saying for a month and a half, if that gets below 20, this market's climbing. And here we are, the VIX is at 1716. It's obviously been below 20. And we look at the climb that the market has put on. Tom, let me put this into perspective, because I know you and I kind of live in the moment in the market. The month open for the S&P futures was 65.62. We're trading right now 600 points higher. That's a huge move in the S&P. And started with the VIX. I mean, you've been laying this out there that this is a possibility. You could see this type of move in the market if these conditions come in. And by the way, let's keep going down the list. Take a look at crude. I need an update on that crude price. We're at 82.9 on that. Okay. But it dipped down below 80 earlier, went down to 78.97. That's another number that you were telling people to expect. So this is, I suppose, if you're coming from the DTI world, this is not surprising if you've been paying attention.
No, I get a kick out of people say you can't market time. And that's what made me spend my life learning how to do it. Because I said, if I can learn how to time the market, I got something nobody else will have. Because they sell that can't be done. I prove it not only every day, I prove it through my students that learn to do it the way I do it. And they find themselves on the sidelines when everybody else is losing their butt in the market. And it's something that we really perfected. It's that's a whole course, market timing. And I think that might be a class in the future. We'll think about it. Anyway, that's just my thought.
Yeah, it's certainly worth looking into. And as we go down through this list, you'll notice a few things showing up on the short side. That's kind of interesting. The crude dipping down. We got some of those commodities dipping down. USO. Someone asked about USO a little bit earlier, and you can certainly see that movement. And then we get down into the stocks, and I don't see any shorts. I've just got long across the board. A few that I suppose haven't triggered. Well, here we go. Here we go. A little bit lower. We get some shorts popping up. But this has been a very strong market. I'm just going to kind of fly through and take a look at a few things. This is one of my favorite performers. These numbers, though, yeah, okay. You have to look at that 277.20 in AMD and say, is that correct? The answer is yes, absolutely, it is. Here's another stock you've been raving on, Tom. And wow. Wow. I don't really have much more to say about Advanced Micro Devices than that. Big, powerful move. And you've been talking lately about Intel, which for a long time, AMD and Intel really butting up against each other, and you use them to sort of understand the whole broader market. We've got AMD showing off like this. You were talking about it a couple of weeks back, and we see that big move. We're looking at Intel now to see if it's climbing into that same boat, but wow. And what does that mean for the broader market as a whole? Well, take a look at NVIDIA here, up above 200. Looks
well,
like that's
NVIDIA's headed to 220. And so this is a stock that you don't have to day trade. And if you know about NVIDIA's personality, it typically will start out in the pre-market strong, spend the morning consolidating, and then after Genesis, once you get to RB2, they start buying it again. So it's a little different pattern than most of the high tech stocks. But I'm long Intel and looking for higher prices. I'm looking for 220, my next stock.
And NVIDIA.
Let me stop. Does everybody know how to make money off what I just said? If I'm telling you I'm long Intel, or not Intel, if I'm long NVIDIA, you could buy Intel, go out 30 to 45 days, and then at the end of the day, you spread it. That's the way you do Intel today. Start out with a Delta 50, which is two contracts equal 100 shares. That's the way you think about it. But if it pulls back, below one of the reference bars, you spread it. That's simple. That's not hard. Again, the roadmap. I just made people that listen to that about 5,000 or 6,000, depending on how much money they put up. There's 200 to 220, Chuck. One contract's 2,000, right? Minus what you pay for it.
Yeah, and definitely when you see the sector moving like this, there's certain opportunities. You've been talking up Intel, and one of the reasons we're talking up Intel, look at Intel. It's breaking up above the 5238 FTD high up to 7007. Like, just in simple terms, Tom, it costs a lot less to buy a $50 stock than it does a $200 stock. So if you're looking at
with the option,
yeah.
And I gave in TNT, I don't know if you covered it, where I said this morning, sell the 6362 put that expires next Friday. I figure it's time for a scholarship for people in there. Oh, anybody do that Intel scholarship play I posted in there in the TNT room? I try to think about your side of it, because I say, how can I pay for this service for you? And I'll find a trade like that Intel this morning. I'm doing it. Might as well do it. In fact, I haven't checked it, but I bet I'm making money on it. You check it real quick.
Yeah, well, just based on the way it's performing this morning, I would say most likely yes.
Well, we're off to a good start with Hood on my 200 shares there. I'm up 187 bucks.
And Tom, Nvidia has crossed that 200.55 up to 200.75, so actionable there.
Yeah, you buy a Delta 50. We'll look at that when we get through with the slides and go live. You take the time to do that. You and Jonathan will go live and look at just take a look at it.
Okay, I can't wait to get to that. So let me jump in back into the slides and let's get these slides going here. Do want to remind everybody that coming up May 31st through June 2nd, the annual Sawgrass Workshop. You can call 900-706-3532 to get involved in that, or go to dtitrader.com/sawgrass. We look forward to seeing you guys there. We are closing in on the time and very limited space, so if you're one of the lucky ones to catch that last seat for the Sawgrass show, let us know.
That's the 10th anniversary. Tell them they need to add that to the slide.
Okay. All right. 10th anniversary. And see, Jonathan has already typed it in. So,
yeah. No, I'm talking about on the slide.
Right. Yeah. It'll be on the slide next week, Tom. I guarantee it.
Okay.
All right. So today's focusing on 3 features of the Roadmap software. So, Tom, which 3 did you pick out for us today?
Well, the very first feature is the trade tracker, and I covered that, I think, a little bit, but the trade tracker is the starting spot if you're new to the roadmap. And let's put NVIDIA in the trade tracker and look at what it's telling me. NVIDIA, the first 2 spots of my trade tracker is E-mini NASDAQ. Everybody see how I got that set up? Every day when I come up with a stock idea or whatever, I will add it to my trade tracker. Sometimes I'll leave it in there. Sometimes I take it out. But I try to have 4 to 5 great ideas like I have the Magic 5. We'll go live and put the Magic 5 in there from this morning. Just look at those. But the bottom line, the trade tracker is a feature I think you go to first. The second feature is one of our longest first features, which Chuck was covered, which is the ETR page. And I cover that because I look at the things. This is my tape. Does everybody see where Apple's at 271? Did anybody tell you to go buy Apple this morning? I didn't. I told you it was bullish this week, but I didn't tell people to go buy it. But if you used a trade tracker, you would have said, hey, Apple's cooking with gas. Maybe I'll go buy something in there. That's how you use the trade tracker to the ETR page. How about the QQQ? It's soaring right now. You know, NVIDIA's getting ready to run. It's 281 now. It's looking good. But this ETR page, I can do things like talk to you, and out of the corner of my eye, I got a whole screen over here with symbols I'm following that keep me current. Okay? That's what I do. Thank you. And the last one is the most important one you want to look at before you take any trade or anything. Now, I saw Sean was using an antiquated way to look at the market. It's not a bad way, but it is antiquated. It's costing him money because he hadn't bought into what I do. He's following me now. He's a new student, but he's been fed a bunch of Wall Street crap, and I got to get that out of his head. Picking him a little bit, Sean. I saw what you posted in there, and I'm making a killing, and you're sitting there waiting. Okay? Listen to what I tell you. Folks, I've lost so much money. I'm going to help you avoid losing money if you'll listen. Don't have a lot of patience the older I get, but I just got to tell you. So let's just look at, this is Roadmap Compass chart. Right now, what's in there? The E-mini? It's neutral right now. The market's consolidating here during Genesis. We'll go live in a second. All right? I want to get to a live market, Chuck.
We can go live anytime you want there, Tom.
All right, let's go live. Let's go live with NVIDIA. And then let's go over to Tasty Trade and show them the option I would pick out. You can put this in TNT. Instead of people just making 200 and paying me 200, I'm going to show them how to make a lot more right now. All right. That's NVIDIA. You got NVIDIA, the chart. Well, we know it's above 255, so we can stay on them. Go out, Jonathan, 30 to 45 days. Find me an NVIDIA call.
All right. They have earnings on May 20th. 35 days out is May 22nd.
Do that one.
Okay.
Now go find me a Delta 15.
Outright call, Delta 15 looks like to 230 call, marked at $1.70.
All right, so if I bought a Delta 15 here, I would pay 230 for it. Now look at a Delta 50 on that same day.
Delta
choices.
You call it Delta 46 as the 205 call at 8.25.
Okay, so the way that would work, if you used a Delta 50, you'd pay 8.25 to buy it. If you're going to, put the position on and try to take advantage of today's movement, you could use that one. But if you come down to Delta 15, and Delta 15, how much was Delta 15?
$1.70.
All right, so you could pay $1.70 for that one. And then if it goes up to 203 today, which is your next resistance, you could take your profit of the day trade. But if you didn't want to take a profit of the day trade, you could sell the next one up. What's the next one up? How much is it right now?
For the 230 strike, the next one up is 235.
Yeah, you sell 235 and spread it. That's two ways to skin that old proverbial cat.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Tom, because I think there was someone in the chat that said, I'm out of day trades. How can I still play along? And that's how you do it. I'm going to figure out who said that or who asked that. Let's see. Make sure they're still here. Hey, Mike, are you still here? Asked about being out of day trades. Mike in the chat, are you still here? That's the strategy there, Mike. Do you understand? Type yes again if you get it, and we'll know we're taking care of you.
Speaking of that, one of our great customers called Tasty Trade this morning, and they're waiting for the final approval on getting rid of the day trading rule. They're going to be ready to go. So I got to check with Schwab next and find out what they say. Try to match the two stories. Try to get a good answer for this coming. Okay. So this is a trade that I would do right now. Delta 50, Delta 15, and I would spread it if it didn't go up. Now, let's do the math. Let's do some calculation. How much are we paying for that call on the 15?
It's $1.70 to $1.75 right now.
I say you pay $1.75, and NVIDIA goes up $2. Where's it at? NVIDIA, what else? Already doing it. It's 201 to 203. That's $2. Your option is going to appreciate 30 cents, 15 cents per dollar. So you get 30 cents on an investment of $1.75.
So you want to issue this trade now for TNT and target?
Yeah, issue it now.
30 cents.
It's perfect.
Yep. So target will be about $1.99 to 204 or so.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, that's going out to the TNT crew.
Look what Peg wrote. She has a small accounts up 40% with listening to me.
I'm going to repost that one. Love to see that. We got to go find it here. There it is.
I hope everybody's having as much fun as I am. Been waiting on this thing for 30. You know how much education I did during that 30 days? Good gracious. I like to educate, but you can tell I'm more of a trader than that's my first love, trading. Oh, me. What are you going to do? Part of the market. Patience, psychology, everything that goes in. I'd say, how many people think, let me ask this question. We're going to do a poll. Over the last, we got some new people, okay? And we're going to do a poll at the end of this, or when we finish the live trading, and I want you to be thinking about your answer. How many people really benefited from me doing, or the last 30 days with me during the market turmoil stage? That'd be the way we frame the question. Rhonda, what do you need, babe? What does Rhonda need? She needs TNT does not show the action. Is it for 230? Yeah, 230 call. Weasel said he loved it. No call price listed.
I see that, Tom. I'll fix that real quick.
Did anybody ever watch that movie Bugsy with Warren Beatty on Las Vegas? I love that movie. I might watch it this weekend again. But anybody remember watching that movie? Remember when he got frustrated trying to get the hotel built, and he said, "If I keep running into bureaucracy," that's why I developed TNT, because at TNT, guess what I could do? I could reach out and touch it. I have people tell me when they get here, just how much it saved them having that. Put Deb's statement, that's a good testimonial. Thanks for writing that, Deb.
Let's see. Oh yeah, real good.
And somebody asked about the Genesis. Genesis is a time frame from 11:30 to 12. The market will either top out 4 out of 5 days or have a continuation day. Today, if we get higher than in this time frame, that's a continuation day. It's going to be fun this afternoon. It could top out, and we'll show you before we leave where support will step back in. Yeah, Jonathan just posted the white paper. Great job, Jonathan, on the white paper. We constantly are modifying those, even if you read them before. Hey, Neil, are you here? Neil, too. You see what I'm talking about? NVIDIA is a different personality stock than normal. He had asked me earlier, he said, is it time to get out or head to the right? I said, no, not yet. You want to wait after 12, okay? Because after 12, you get to see what it's going to do. Took me a lot of time to learn all this stuff. Sean, in answering your question, we got to look at the S&P, okay? And are you in TNT? Are you in TNT? Okay, well, you're gonna miss it then, because that usually about 3 to 4 in TNT, you know, we'll post something in there about the current market and the numbers. Chuck does that in the afternoon. And John, I'm waiting on you to tell me to keep going.
I couldn't hear you, Tom.
I said, I'm waiting on you to tell me to keep going.
Oh, we can keep going.
Okay. All right. So in general, I said a couple key things. I said, you are to get back invested in stocks you love. And the way I do it is over the course of the day and next week, and I take it up. But I'm 100% in everything I love. Okay. And right now. And that's the way I feel about it right now. Even if I'm a little bit off on my time and I got option strategies, I got other things I can do. But I really think that's something that's out there. So any last minute questions before I leave the live market and go back to the slides? Hey, copy what Tara wrote. I want that to be a testimony. Tara, thank you so much. That's the kind of stuff I need, folks, to keep coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're going to find this out like Rhonda and other people have found out. They know that I'm trading. I'm in here with you, and I want to help you any way I can. We got the tools. Yeah, I'm just holding. She asked me about silver. Absolutely. It's a long-term play. If SLV closes above 75, I might buy more. Come on. Didn't you like NVIDIA? God, I love that NVIDIA play. That's how out of my character to do that kind of play. I did a covered call, roll. And I figured out, I got that money. Might as well make about 15%. And I did in a week. I love it. That's safe money. All right, what else we got, Jonathan? Let's go back, if we can, to the slides and wrap this baby up.
3 terms to know when we're dealing with here at Training Trade and also just trading with Tom. 3 very important terms: trigger, ABO, and target. Trigger is the number where the price has to prove itself. Price must go to the trigger to take action. So just to give you an example, Tom was talking about the Genesis reference bar and a continuation. We could have a real fun afternoon. Well, the trigger for a continuation day on the S&P is the high of the Genesis bar for me right now, which is 71.75. So basically the way this works is, if you're looking to get long the market right now, you would hold off. But if the S&P gets above the 71.75 trigger number, then it's okay to dive in. Everybody makes sense what the trigger means? That's essentially how we use it. To the upside would be the reverse of that to the downside. It'd have to fall below a trigger price to the downside.
All right, I want to show them one other thing before we leave. Bring up the money maker and put what I posted this morning in there. I put 71.45. That was my first resistance, and 70.45 was my first support. Okay. And I did that in TNT every day in TNT. One of the 7 or 8 things I give you in the morning is the resistance and support number along with the pivot numbers. Let's play the game. I said the pivot number was 70.75. Draw a line on the pivot 70.75. Okay, I'm framing the market. Then on the money maker, I said 71.45 is my target and 70.45 is my risk. Jonathan, what was the high and low during that period of time?
Well, the high of RB3 was essentially 71.45.
Yeah, so I hit it during RB3. That was posted at around 6 o'clock this morning. I do this every day. If you're in TNT, how valuable you find this use of the money maker? My numbers work just about every day. We never talk about it, and I wanted to take a second and show you how to use it, because you got the pivot number and you got the resistance and support to start your day. How valuable is that? Now, once we broke 71.45, we go to 71.62, 71.75, 71.85, 71.95, and then we get to the eventual target of 72.05. That's today's action. Anyway, I wanted to show that to people. And somebody, either Chuck or you, ought to change the target to 72.05. And you could, the support, I'd leave it at 70.40.
7205. Getting it updated right now.
All right, so let's just look at NVIDIA. If we get to 72.05, where it should go. That's the way I use it.
202.25.
Yeah, which is the time we take profit on that option we do. Carol's from California. She said, Tom, I'm in California. I'm 2 hours behind you, or 3 hours. What time is it there, Carol? You're 3 hours behind, right? $8.49. She gets up early. She didn't get up early when I met her, but she likes making money. She gets up early and uses that. Jim, do you get up early and look at it, or you get up later?
Carol gets up real early out in California.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the slides. Folks, I enjoyed being with you. I'll see everybody at 1:30, but I want to finish up these slides because I got a call, and the call is, let's go through the terms right here. Trigger number. I define, okay, go back to the slide. Okay, go back. I define any trade I do by where I'm getting in, like NVIDIA was 255. Everybody understand? That was my trigger number. My all bets off number is the low of the day today. My target today is 202 to 204 area today. So I know that going in with any trade I do where I'm at. Okay, next term. I define the trigger number as a price that must go for me to take action. You saw it today in living color on NVIDIA. Okay, and that's how I make the trade. And I do this through my top 10 and everything else. And my all bets off number for me means if a trade sets up to go in a certain direction, but then goes in the opposite direction. Usually reference bars help me determine these numbers. The lower of those reference bars if I'm going long. That's what I love about the roadmap software. So I can put any market in here. Now, Sean was talking about the VWAP. There's nothing wrong with the VWAP, but would you rather have the Wall Street Journal 3 days earlier or read the Wall Street Journal the day they print it? You tell me. You tell me, would you rather have the Wall Street Journal 3 days earlier, or would you rather have it on the day you read it? That's the way I equate VWAP. Okay? Reading it today, I'd use VWAP. But being ahead of the game, I'm using my roadmap and 3 days early. That's the way I think about it. Okay? I like being ahead. Don't you, Carol? I remember talking to Carol about this when she came one-on-one, getting it through her head. I said, Carol, I'm giving you the Wall Street Journal 3 days early. You know? Look what Peg wrote in there. Everybody ought to see that. I will never trade without the roadmap again. All right, good. All right. All bets off number, you set it for the day, usually below the reference bars. Initially, it starts, step one is find out what the low is, set it below that. Step two, when you get in, set it below the reference bar that got you in. Step three, you got to look a little bit longer term. You take it overnight. That's where the trade tracker comes in. Pretty simple stuff. With options, I have initial targets anywhere between 15 and 25%, especially for short-term option trading. I can't wait till a lot of these small accounts can trade these days, and then guess what's going to happen? They're going to be big accounts if they listen. Okay, that's my goal.
Now, I just wanted to get some basic information from you, Tom. 3 different time frames: short-term, swing, and long-term. How do you set trigger ABO and targets for short-term intraday?
Right, for short-term, I just explained it. I use the day's low, and then the reference bar low as the day progress for short-term. For swing, I will use a 2-day high and low initially, and then I will expand it to 5 days. For long term, Oh, I'm covering it all. For long term, I use the monthly open.
Good deal. I'll get all that information added to the slides for everybody, but let's keep going for now, Tom. We
All
got
right,
one
so
slide.
here's the trial program we're running right now. I'm very encouraged by everybody that joined me. And I decided to add a little sweetener that I'll be with you live and do some training from the founder next week, next Friday at 10:30. Okay, so put that on your schedule if you're a Roadmap member. But I'm trying to expand everybody. I want everybody to win. Boy, it took a lot with the money we got tied up in this, over probably $1 million since we started, programming, doing all this stuff, keeping it up. It was hard to go down to $99, but I know that once you're with me, you'll probably upgrade it to a year or whatever. The idea is I'm trying to build this with you. You heard what Peg, a relatively new student, said, and she pretty well gets it quick. Yeah, it's never been offered at $99. Hey, for years I wouldn't even let people open it up unless they paid $3,000. It's too valuable. But here's your opportunity. Get signed up, be there, and I'll be back next Friday for another training period as we build what I call the features that will make you money. Any questions about this? Now, Jonathan, when was the first time I offered this? Wednesday night?
I believe so. Yeah, Wednesday on the
I
web.
think
So.
today is Friday. I think they ought to hear how I get in the Wall Street Journal. Listen to what I was saying Wednesday night. Let them listen to that as I talk about it. And then we get into this roadmap deal. I think it's worth listening to.
I agree. I'll cue that up and start that in about 1 or 2 minutes.
Now look, Bob, Bob, you've never been here to one of my classes, have you? Hey, Wendy. He's just referring 3 people to me, becoming a fast friend. It's okay to refer people to it. Bring in here to train and trade. John, what link would they give people if they wanted to invite their friend?
To train and trade,
Yeah.
probably the best way to do that is subscribe to the YouTube channel, I would say, since we're live there every day. And I'll just type, the link's real easy. It's just dtitrader.com/YouTube.
That is good. Yeah, go there. A lot of good stuff. And they hit notifications, right, Wendy? And then they'll notify when we're having a meeting. I would thank Wendy for doing that.
Yeah, if you like and subscribe and turn your notifications on, you'll get notified when we go live. I would also suggest going to dtitrader.com/tbuzztv to get Tom's morning video update for free. And when you join the Telegram for that, we always post an invite to train and trade in there as well. So that's another great source for you.
Yeah, I think we ought to have a slide, easy access, Chuck and Jonathan, that we go through that everybody gets those. I know you got it because you use it all the time, but other people, we need to hit an over their head and shoulders where everybody here understands just how valuable it is to be part of it.
Yeah, we do have that, but we probably just make a bigger emphasis on it. The opening slide. We got 2 sections here. Join the free Telegram and join the free YouTube. So dtitrader.com/
Can they copy that, or can we post that every time we do that into the chat where they can just click it?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, let's listen to this. I think it's going to be interesting. I'll be back at 1:30. I've got some trades to make today. I'll tell you what they are. My pocket call will be made between 1:30 and 2. My weekend side hustle trade, which is unbelievable. I'll be making that. That's that weekly trade I do there. And if anything else pops on the screen between now and then, I'll tell you about it at 1:30.